Let's talk about mastering global blocks in Groove pages. Have you ever wanted to have a header that's the same on every page, or a footer that's the same on every page, or even a testimonial block that you put on every page? I'm going to show you in the next 9 minutes how you can master global blocks for Groove pages by understanding where you go to find it, how you edit it, and how you add it to your page. Before we get to the video, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos coming out here at Groove Tutorials. Let's get into it. Let's find out how to master global blocks with Groove pages. The first thing we're going to do is just discover where do you find global blocks once they're created. The place to discover global blocks is by clicking on Pages and then going to the bottom here for global blocks. So this would be the place where you can go to begin the process of creating a global block or finding ones that you've already created. Now let's go ahead and create a global block from scratch. So we're going to, on global blocks, click the plus, and generally we just want to click the blank template. Okay, so this is going to bring up, you can see here, global block 1 with a plus out here to begin the process. The first thing I'm going to do is click the 3 dots and rename it. And I'm going to call this header block. That's basically so that when we come back in here, because this preview doesn't really ever work, or hit or miss works, we're not going to depend on what it looks like. We're going to go by the title of the block. Header block, and now we can start editing this block. The first thing we do is we're going to actually add a block to the global block. Now, side note, a global block is not necessarily just one block. It is, if you will, a global area that you can add to your page. So for example, I'm going to go here, I'm just going to click plus. You can start with an empty block, but what you're going to do is basically develop the entire, if you will, page region that you want to be global to be able to be used on each page. What I could do is just go down here to navigation bars and choose one of those. I could go up here to modern, choose navigation, choose one of these pre-formatted blocks, or I can, as I said, I can go to wireframe, empty blocks, and just start with an empty container. For this example, just to create global blocks, I'm going to go to modern, navigation, and I'm just going to pick one that looks cool to me. Let's just grab this one right here. Okay, this is, now we can exit that. This is our beginning of our global block setup. Let's say we've finished our process and we've created our global header the way we want it. At the top here, we're going to click Save and Exit. And it says down here at the bottom that the content is saved. So what we did is we created the global block. Now let's add it to our page. So we're going to go again, we'll find it up here in Pages. We're going to go to Global Blocks. Here it is, it says header block again. The preview doesn't show us anything, but this is the block we want. Okay, now we're going to add that block to our page, and we do that the way we add any block to the page builder. We click on a block, and these pluses are going to show up. We click the top one because we're going to put this at the top. Now we click Global Blocks, and you can see that it still says Site Preview Generating. That generally doesn't change. It might, but we know it's the header block we want because we named it header block. So I'm just going to click on it, and you can see that it added it to this page. Now the global block is added to the page, and the same thing would be true of a global footer. You can even use it for a global testimonial block that you might want to add to multiple pages. Any global block, that's the process for creating a global block from scratch. I want to show you one more thing about global blocks, and that is, what do you do if you've already created a block and you decide you want it to be a global block? So let's use this second block as an example. We have the block highlighted, and let's say I want to make this into a global block. So here's the process. Select the block, then click the clipboard, add to clipboard. Now go over to Pages, Global Blocks, New, blank template, and we're going to click Rename, and then we're just going to call this Example 2 and check mark to save that. So now we have the block created. Now what we're going to do is click the plus, and automatically, because we just saved a block to the clipboard, it's going to show us the clipboard block that we clipped. So we're just going to click on it, and now you can see that this global block called Example 2 has everything in it that the block on the page had in it. And if this is perfect, we're going to, or you can make changes to it here if you want to. Once you're satisfied with the way it is, we're going to save and exit. And then, very important, we have not added the global block to this page. We still have the non-global block here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this block, but before I do that, just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and add the global block to the page. So I'm going to click Add Block, Global Blocks. Again, we don't know from the site preview, but because of the name, we see it's example 2. We click it. Now you can see we have 2 blocks on our page that look exactly the same. The one that is still selected is the one that is not a global block. And if you want to be sure about that, what you can do is click on a block, and you can see that it says at the top, Edit Global Block. This is how we know this is the global block. We want to leave that one on the page. This is the non-global block. We're going to delete that from the page. So now essentially we have added a global block header, navbar, and a global block example 2 to our page, and that is how you manage global blocks. If you, let's say now you're in the middle of your page and you realize you want to change something on the nav bar, you can click on it and click the Edit Global Block, and it will take you into that particular global block like this. So we're directly into the global block. Or you can just click the Pages, Global Blocks, go to your block you want to edit, click the 3 dots, and you can see right here, this block is used in existing pages. So it's going to tell you anytime a global block is already used. You can click Edit, and now you're inside and you can make your changes. Once you make your changes, you want to save it and exit, and then you want to publish every page that has that global block on it in order for those changes to update to your site. That's it. You're ready to master global blocks. Now, before you leave, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss Groove tutorials as we keep putting out the best, the most concise, and the most effective tutorials on the internet for Groove. Also, make sure you check out the Groove for Growth Academy at yourbestgroove.com/academy. That's it. Let's keep grooving.